Welcome to another episode of Voice of a Niner Faithful. I'm Jason, your host. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about the tight end position on the 49ers. We'll also discuss a little bit about our new running back that we picked up from Green Bay. We'll briefly mention, like right now, I'll briefly mention we also had Randy Gregory go to the Bucks. Not a big loss in the grand scheme of things. He did okay for us. Happy he got a new team, but it's not a huge loss for us. We also talk about maybe we should trade Elijah Mitchell. We should also talk about a little bit about our, speaking of trading out of the first round. Should we? And a little bit about Wrestlemania. And we'll get to that and why at the end. So let's get to it. Speaking of tight ends, the 49ers tried to get tight end Brock Wright from the Lions, but it did not, unfortunately, go our way. They decided to exercise their first right of refusal. So they want to keep their tight end, which is understandable. If you watched his play at all, even against us in the playoffs, he did extremely well, and it would have been an awesome pickup for us. So since we aren't getting him, who are we going to get? That is a very good question. Should we worry about George Kittle? He is getting up there for a tight end. I think he's going to be around personally for at least a good 3, 4, 5 years. I think he's still going to be a Niner. I think he's going to retire a Niner. At least that's my hope. And he's lots of productivity left in him. Yes, we need to start planning, as this article goes into, of planning for life without George Kittle. Well, duh. You got to plan for life after any player. We got to plan for life after Brock Purdy. It's not going to happen for a long time, but you got to plan for it. So articles like this, of course, they're obvious articles. Yes, we have to start looking for somebody to cover, a backup for sure, since we lost Charlie Warner. But do we need to worry that much this year? No. Do we need to pick up a tight end this year? Yes. Will we pick somebody up in the draft? More than likely. I'm thinking it'll be in the 5th or 6th round. If, for whatever reason, we do choose to get somebody in the first or second round, I think possibly it could be one of these wonderful people. And as soon as I get it open, boom, here we are. Tight end ranking. So, Brock Bowers, Javonte Sanders, Cade Stover. Unless we pick them up in the first round or the second round, we aren't getting these guys. Possibly, I'm thinking Sinat, Hoker, Bell. If we chose to go that high in the draft, those would be the possibilities that would be out there for us to grab. I'm thinking more down here. I'm thinking, like I said, 5th, 6th round. Maybe we get one of these guys here. Our biggest thing that we need to look for is blocking. Yes, we want a tight end that can catch. But we also need a tight end like George Kittle who likes to block. Now, should we go for height or should we go for pounds? They're all roughly around the same pounds. I don't think a taller tight end like Jared Willie here, 6'6", tall boy. I'm thinking more 6'2", 6'3". So maybe this 6'4" Eric All. Let's see what they show on him. Receptions, receiving position class, rank 10th. Blocking, here we go. 53%. That's not too bad. Short receiving, intermediate. He's good on receiving, and he can still block decent. I wouldn't say he's George Kittle blocking yet, but I think going to tight end university with George, and he'll get that up there. So I wouldn't mind this guy here, Greg All. Eric All. I don't know where I'm getting Greg from. Eric All. So overview stats without combine. No, I like combine stats too. So this is who I'm thinking. What do you all think? So, yes, I think we are going to pick up a tight end. Do we need to worry about George Kittle right now? No. Next couple years, yeah, it's going to be starting to get up there, but like I said, I think he's going to be around a good 3, 4, 5 more years. And that's not something that we're going to have to worry about too long. Now, speaking of other positions, running back. We picked up a running back. Guy named Patrick Taylor from the Packers. Now, I don't know if any of you have been paying attention to my previous cat podcasts, especially my early ones. I mentioned I live in Wisconsin. So I'm surrounded by a bunch of cheeseheads. So I went out and I actually asked a couple of my buddies who are all Packer fans and most of my family who are all Packer fans. And I asked them about this guy. And I didn't get a whole lot of big reaction because a lot of them didn't even know who he was, which is pretty sad. But he can be a third running back, and maybe he'll show some sparks. Maybe not. Maybe he's a good, decent blocker for CMC or a pass blocker. That would be okay. But I'm not expecting a whole lot from him. I'm hoping I'm wrong. Like I said, the people I've asked here in Wisconsin, they really didn't know a whole lot about him. Some of them didn't even know that he was on the team. So, yeah, I'm not expecting great things, maybe good things. We'll see. And I mentioned earlier at the beginning that we did lose Randy Gregory. Those things happen. He was okay. Not a big deal loss with him. Do we need to pick up a running back in the draft? No, I don't think so. Now that we got Patrick Taylor, we have CMC, we have Jordan Mason. Now we can just slide right on into my next discussion point, trading Elijah Mitchell. As much as I like Elijah Mitchell, his rookie year was outstanding. But I think he was pushed too hard that year, and now he is very injury prone. He is not as anywhere near as productive. Yes, he's behind CMC now. Once we got CMC, pretty much any running back behind him didn't, have a lot of productivity. But Jordan Mason did better than Elijah Mitchell last year. So if we could get, say, a 7th rounder, 6th rounder possibly, as a trade for Elijah Mitchell, I think it would actually benefit us and it would benefit Elijah Mitchell. He'll have a better chance of getting back to a number 2 spot or even a number 1 spot if he can show whatever team he might go to what he can do and he can stay healthy. So it wouldn't surprise me if we did end up trading him. I think it would be the best thing for all involved. I don't think that Mitchell is going to have anywhere near the impact he would like to have on our team now. I think Jordan Mason showed last year that he can pick up as the number 2, and it's just for the best. I really hate to say it, but it's good for him. It's good for the Niners. Let's see if we can do something and get something good out of it for all players. As much as I would like to keep him, as much as I'd love to see him healthy again and be as productive as he was in his rookie year, we got to think outside the box. Now, speaking of trading, should we trade out of the number 1 spot? Or a first round spot, excuse me, to be more precise. Our first round spot is spot 31. It's right at the end. So if we trade out and we can pull off a second round pick and possibly another pick for next year, say to cover for the 5th round pick we lost for last year or next year, I think that would be very beneficial. It's not going to hurt us because we're at the end of the first round anyway. We can still get the people I think that we want or the team wants. I'm a fan, so what I want is irrelevant. So if we can get another draft pick, maybe, like I said, another second round and maybe a 5th round for next year, or maybe if we can pull off like a second round, a 6th round for this year, and a 5th round for next year, that would be awesome, wouldn't it? So if we keep who we have, if we keep the picks that we have, offensive tackle, cornerback, not necessarily in that order. That's our first 2 picks. If we go back to if we trade down, get in the second round, maybe we do pick up one of those higher end tight ends and offensive tackle, not necessarily in that order. But I think it wouldn't be a bad thing. I think if we try to trade up to try to get somebody, I think the only worthy position that at the moment we should trade up for is offensive tackle, particularly someone who has been on the right side. That is where our weakness is. McKivitz does a decent job, but we need somebody who can do a great job. We need a pulling tackle like Trent Williams on both sides of the ball, not just on the left. So if we could pull something like that off, then I think it might be worth going up and trading up to get somebody. But then we are losing draft picks unless they pull off a trade that, there we go. We can trade Elijah Mitchell along with a draft pick, and maybe we can pull that off. Who knows? But I don't see us trading up as much as I've heard some people saying maybe we should. I think we should. If we do anything, we stay or trade down. I think trading down would benefit us more. I think staying where we're at, I can see that happening. But like I said, offensive tackle or cornerback. So let's look at those positions. We will look at who will they look at? We will look at okay, we'll look at cornerback first. Cornerback. 20. I got to learn to type better. All right, PFF. Let's take a look. 2024 NFL draft positions cornerback. So, again, because of our position, number 31 in the draft, if we pick a cornerback first, unfortunately, it's not going to be some of these top guys. I think these top guys are going to go fairly quickly. We might if we pick up somebody in the first round, maybe we pick up Kool-Aid here. He has a possibility of picking him up. I've seen some of his plays. Let's see what his home show. Doesn't like that. I've seen him play. He does really good. Started as a true freshman, so he's been playing a while. He has an uncanny knack for making plays. Yeah. He's a good athlete, but not an elite one for the NFL level when it comes to stop and start ability. He is not as twitchy as he is smooth. This part here can be coached. I'm not too worried about that. We have great coaches on the 49ers. So him not being super twitchy at first, that's fine. He can get that coached in, learn that as he goes. That wouldn't be a horrible first round pick. Now, I still think we should take offensive tackle in the first round, but as I said, it's either going to be offensive tackle or cornerback. So, McGinstry, maybe Arnold here, if he's available still by spot 31. Looks like not too terrible of stats. Couple of really good games. So yeah, he's not too bad either. So a little worried about the weight, but that can come down because the heavier you are, the slower you are. So if he comes down, say, to 185, 180, somewhere between there, I think that'll help. But I think this wouldn't be a terrible thing to look at. I don't know why it's not letting us do that. Oh well. So he wouldn't be too bad either. Both at Alabama. Maybe TJ Tampa. I haven't actually seen anything on him. Looks like he had a couple of good games too. 6'2", 200. Kind of a bigger corner, but that wouldn't be too bad. Especially with the way the rules are these days on tackling, the whole hip drag tackle thing. If maybe we are going to end up in the future cornerbacks and safeties being bigger, so they have the ability to tackle without doing that. I could see that the NFL going in that direction, so that he might actually be not a bad player to pick up. So then there are the offensive tackles. Let us look at that right quick. Yes, I am OT. And again, we'll just stick with PFF. PFF seems to be fairly accurate on their picks. Joe Alt from Notre Dame, 5. Yeah, we're not going to get him unless we trade all the way up that far. No. I am thinking probably Mims, Barton, Guyton, or Morgan. One of those 4 we have a possibility to get. Hopefully one of them is really good at pulling. It's hard to see that on their stats if they're a pulling guard or pulling tackle, whatever. I've heard a lot of good things about Mims. Never seen him play, but I've seen a lot of good things about him. I've actually seen a few mock drafts saying that that's who we're going to get. I saw one mock draft that we were going to get Guyton here. Let's take a look at Guyton. Overall grade, pass blocks, run blocks, pretty even as he went up from 3 years of playing. Looks like he didn't play a whole lot in his first year. Um, I just wish there was a way that they graded pulling. You know how Trent Williams, you can pull him from the left side and he comes all the way around to the right side and leads CMC, and that's what we need. That's what we can. You imagine somebody else coming back around and helping Trent Williams, pulling from the right side and going around there, and Trent Williams and somebody else, and oh, that'd be awesome, wouldn't it? Talk about a run that CMC can make. But yeah, that's what I would. If anyone knows of a place, of a site or something that you can go and see what their pulling stats are, if they did pull, if they how well they did, that sort of thing. Or if any of you have watched any of these guys and you've seen them do it, let me know. And let me know the game, and I'll go watch. I'll try to find it and look at least those highlights up. So Guyton, Mims, maybe Barton. I haven't heard a lot about him, to be honest. Morgan, I heard a little bit about. I'm not even going to pronounce this guy's last name. I'll call him by his first name, Kingsley. Possibly him, end of day one, early day two. If we trade out of the first round and have an earlier second round pick out of it, I could see that. So getting an offensive tackle or cornerback, I think, are our top priorities. Tight end, 5th, 6th round. Now, if we can pull off getting, some legacy players from the 49ers, Rice's son, Frank Gore's kid, or Terrell Owens' kid, I think all three of them, I think, have already had private workouts or of something that, pro days that the 49ers have been with or attended. So there is that slight possibility that we pick up a legacy player, a legacy 49er player. Tell me what you guys all think of that. Should we go after them? Do you think any of them are good enough for Shanahan's offense? Not necessarily, we're all fans. We'd love to, can you imagine all three of them? We'd love to have all of them. But we got to consider how well they would fit into the current offense. I think Frank Gore's kid would be the most ideal. What I'd like to see, Rice or Owens, both of them, they're kids on the 49ers. Yes, I think they're both great. I think they're both wide receivers. Let's look that up right quick. I believe that they are both wide receivers. Terrell Owens' son. Tariq Owens is a wide receiver, yes. And here we go. I'll show you what I got. Wide receiver, 200 pounds. Missouri State. 10 games in his second season. So yeah, there is that possibility of Tariq Owens. Wouldn't be a terrible thing. Maybe he can start. We do need a returner since we lost ours. So maybe he can start there. See what he can do with catching the ball from a kick, and if he can show some good sparks there, and then they can throw him in here or there, and we'll go. And he turns out awesome. That'd be great. Same with Brendan Rice. I believe it's Brendan. Let's look at that. Jerry Rice's son's stats. Yep, Brendan Rice. Trojans. So 2023 season, he did all right. That's not 12 touchdowns, almost 800 yards. Oh, is that him there? Oh, look at that. Let's bring that up. a little fuzzy, but not too bad. Good. Almost fell out, but then there he is. Oh, touchdown. Yeah, he has a possibility. But of course, they are going to have those highlights, and their parents are who they are. So you would hope that they'd have that talent. That their parents showed them some skills and tricks of the trade and whatnot. And we're all 49er fans. We'd love to see that. But is it going to actually happen? Are they Shanahan players? We'll see. Maybe our wide receivers coach will say, you know what, he really would fit with what we're doing, and convince him. Or our running back coach, hey, he's going to be a really good running back for us. I think he would be a good third spot to start. Who knows? But would it be awesome? Just the dream, isn't it? There was one uh, mock draft I did see that we were going to pick up Brendan Rice with. So somebody out there thinks he could fit, besides us fans. So what do you all think? Do you think we're going to pick up one of our legacy players? I hope we do. As much as I would love to see it, unfortunately, I don't see it happening. But as a fan, damn Skippy, I would love to see it. So, last thing to talk about is WrestleMania. I said I mention it. And why am I mentioning WrestleMania? Because we have two faithfuls that are wrestling in WrestleMania, Roman Reigns and Bayley. Now, I'm recording this after the first night of WrestleMania. I normally record this Friday night, Saturday morning, but to be honest, I got a little tired. So I'm recording it now, and I've watched the first day of WrestleMania, and I'm not going to say who won the match between The Rock and Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes and Seth freaking Rollins, but it was a good match, and I hope you guys go back and watch it, and watch tomorrow for Bayley and Roman Reigns in their singles matches that they're going to have. I like Bayley. I've liked her for a while. I'm more of a Charlotte person, but I do like Bayley. I hope she wins. I hope Roman Reigns wins. And we'll leave it there. Enjoy your wrestling for this weekend, and looking forward to the NFL draft coming up. I'm looking forward more to next year because it's going to be in Green Bay, and I'm going to go. Even if I have to stand outside the whole time and just listen from the background. Who knows? I would like to go. I'm going to take I can't take my laptop, so I'm going to have to try to do this from my phone. Hopefully by then I will have this down a little bit better, as this is only episode 9. So we'll see how well it goes. I am going, and you all have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and go Niners!